Let's begin by lying on your backs, legs out long, arms by your sides. Start to connect with your breath, deepening the inhales and the exhales. See if you can equalize the inhale and the exhales. Your affirmation for today's practice might be, I explore and expand, or I am learning to explore and expand. On your next inhale, bend your right knee. As you exhale, draw that knee in towards your chest, using your hands to help it in. Inhale, let your belly expand, and exhale, draw your knee up towards your right armpit. Rotate your ankle one way and the other. Now take your right foot with your right hand, or take your ankle, and let your left hand come to rest on your left hip, just to stay aware of what that hip is doing. Ideally, it won't move too much. Inhale and exhale to draw your right foot in a bit more. The sole of the foot is still facing the ceiling, and your right knee is drawing towards your right armpit. And breathe here. Next exhale, send your right leg down and switch sides, bending your left knee and drawing your left knee up and in towards your chest. Inhaling to expand, and exhale to draw your knee further in towards your armpit, maybe rotating your ankle one way and the other. Inhale to reach your left foot up towards the sky, so you take that foot or ankle in your left hand, keeping your right hip drawing towards the mat. And breathe here. Now draw both of your knees in towards your chest and rock and roll up to seated, or roll onto one side and come up in your own time. Now bend your knees and bring your hands under your thighs for support. Your feet are on the floor and your back is as long as it can be. You're sitting somewhere between your tailbone and sits bones. Most of us need to come a little bit further forward to get the most out of boat pose. Inhale here to create length through your crown, and exhale to raise your legs up off the floor, so shins come parallel with the floor. You can keep your hands where they are under your legs for support, or send them out long beside your legs, palms facing upwards. And breathe here. You can keep your knees bent or send them out long. Make sure that you keep your chest open, drawing your shoulders back and down. And release. Now roll forward and come to all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Draw your awareness to your core, imagining creating length through your entire spine. And inhale to draw your belly button in and up on your exhale. On your next inhale, send your right leg back straight behind you and raise your foot just an inch or two. Inhale here, and exhale, bring your left arm out directly in front of you, as if you're reaching to shake somebody's hand. Try to reach forward and backward equally through your hand and foot, creating as much length as possible, whilst keeping your hips and shoulders steady and even. Inhale and exhale to bring them down to the mat. Now for the next side. Send your left leg back behind you. Raise your foot just an inch or two. Toes are still pointing down to the mat. Breathe here. And on your next inhale, send your right arm out. Reaching through your right arm and through your left foot, use your core strength to keep you stable, your back body is nice and long. Breathe here. And on your next exhale, release back to the earth. Now let your knees hover and raise your hips up and back to down dog. Fingers are spread very wide, kind of like starfish, grounding down to create a lightness and lift through your arms, which travels up your back and down your legs. On your next inhale, bend your knees, gaze forward as you step up to the top of your mat and come to a forward fold. Maybe taking each elbow in the opposite hand and gently swaying from side to side. On your next inhale, start to slowly roll up through your spine. Your shoulders and head are the last to lift. Maybe close your eyes and return to your breath. Connect to your core, drawing your belly button up and in. And breathe here. Now we'll do some sun salutations, modified first, followed by one with more advanced options. Inhale, bring your hands up to the sky, gazes up. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Inhale, as you gaze forward, hands to your shins, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step your right foot back, pause here. And exhale, step your left foot back, plank pose. Inhale, lower your knees to the floor. And exhale, lower your belly to the floor. Draw your shoulders down your back. Inhale, send your chest forward for baby cobra. And exhale to bend your knees and send your hips up and back to down dog. Bend your knees to create more length in your spine. Maybe start to work towards straightening them in your own time. Remember to take weight off your wrists by grounding down through your fingertips and knuckles, almost gripping the mat with your hands. On your next inhale, gaze forward and step up to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, letting your head release. Inhale to raise back up, send your hands to the sky. And exhale, hands to prayer at heart center. And breathe here. Let's go again. So inhaling your hands up to the sky, gazes up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, gaze up. And exhale, step or hop back to plank pose. Inhale in plank. And exhale, lower to your knees and come to your bellies or take a chaturanga. Inhale to shine your heart forward for cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, bend your knees and send your hips up and back to down dog. And see what happens if you start to slow down your breath and deepen it further. Take weight back into your heels by bending your knees and sending your hips up and back. And let your neck relax. On your next inhale, bend your knees, gaze towards the top of your mat, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale to raise back up to standing, sending your hands to the sky. And exhale, hands to prayer at heart center. Step your left foot behind you as you come to a wide stance in the center of your mat. Toes are pointing forward towards the long edge of the mat. Bring your hands to your hips and inhale to lengthen your crown up, and exhale, maintain that length as you hinge forward and bring your hands to the mat. Inhale to look up and lengthen, and exhale to fold forward. You can also rest your hands on a book or a block or a chair if you have one. And just let your head relax and lower towards the ground. Shift your weight forward towards your toes and actively draw your inner thighs in towards each other. On your next inhale, raise your hands to your hips and lift halfway. Exhale here as you pause. And slowly inhale back up to stand. Now turn your left toes out to face the back edge of your mat. And start to bend your left knee. Keep that knee tracking the middle of your foot, maybe even towards the little toe side. Inhale, raise your arms out to the side, palms face down. And check your front knee isn't going too far forward. Inhale as you ground through the back edge of your back foot. And exhale, soften through your shoulders and let them sink down your back. On your next inhale, flip your left palm face up and start to sweep your left hand up and over. So you turn your gaze upwards into reverse warrior. Your right hand might graze your back leg. Exhale, sweep your left arm back down to meet your front thigh. And your right arm comes up and over for side angle pose. Inhale, back up to warrior two, arms out long. Now straighten both of your legs and turn your left toes in and your right toes out. So the right toes are now facing the front of the mat. Now bend your right knee and make sure you can still see your front big toe. Inhale, raise your arms out to the side, palms down, really reaching through both your hands. And exhale, soften your shoulders down your back. And don't forget about your back leg, keep it nice and strong, grounding through the outer edge of the foot. Inhale, flip the palm of your right hand face up. Lengthen up as you reverse warrior, sweeping the right arm up and over, sending your left hand down your back leg. Exhale, bring your right arm to meet your front thigh, sweeping your left arm up and over, side angle pose. Really creating length through the left side of the body, from the back of your foot to the fingertips of your left hand. Inhale, back up to warrior two, and exhale, step up to the top of your mat for mountain pose. Now shift the weight onto your left foot as you come onto your right toes. And turn your right knee out from your hip point so your right heel rests on your left ankle. Bring your hands to your hips here for support and to check that they stay even. If you're feeling quite balanced today, continue to lift your right foot up to either your shin or rest on your inner thigh. Hands can come to prayer or raise up to the sky. You can take chin mudra here, taking your thumbs and index fingers together. And keep your right hip drawing up and your left hip drawing in. The aim here is to keep your hips even as possible. When you're ready, lower your foot to the floor. Now shift the weight into your right foot as you come up onto your left toes. Turn your left knee out so that your left heel rests on your ankle. Bringing your hands to your hips for support. And just like you did on the other side, continue to lift your right foot up, either to the shin or your thigh. No worries if you're having a toes on the floor day today. Hands can come to prayer or up to the sky. You might take a micro bend in your standing leg to really keep that leg engaged and supportive. When you've had enough, lower your right foot to the floor and shake out your legs. Inhale, raise your hands up to the sky, gazing up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, look forward. And exhale, step or hop back to plank. From plank pose, turn your hands outwards as though you were turning on a tap. So your thumbs and index fingers are creating a kind of W if you were to slide them together. Now start to roll onto the outer edge of your right foot and the inner edge of your left. So you come into side plank. Bring your left hand to your hip for support. If you're good here, stay here, breathing and making sure to keep your hips lifted. If you want to take Wild Thing, bring your left foot up and behind your right, and as you continue to open up towards the sky. Bend your left knee as you bring that foot to the floor. Inhale your left arm up and send your chest up high. And breathe here. On your next exhale, come back gently to plank using your core to bring your left leg around and lower your left arm to the floor. And take a break here in child's pose, coming down to your knees, sending your hips to your heels. Your arms can stay out long or come back by your side. Breathe here. On your next inhale, come back to tabletop. And from here, raise your knees and start to walk your hands forward into plank pose. Make sure your hips aren't sticking up or sinking in. You want to be in one long line. So turn your hands out again to form that W shape. And start to roll onto your left side this time and take side plank, bringing your right hand to your right hip. Inhale, keeping your hips high, and exhale to ground down through your left foot and left hand. If you're good here, stay here, breathing in side plank. And for Wild Thing, bring your right foot up and behind your left as you continue to open up to the sky. Bend your right knee as you send that foot to the floor. Inhale your right arm up and sweeping it over. Send your chest high up to the sky. You might look up if that's okay on your neck. And breathe here. On your next exhale, come back gently into plank, bringing your right leg back and around as you lower your arms to the floor. Come back down to your knees and take child's pose, arms out long or by your sides. And breathe here. In your own time, come to roll over and lie flat on your backs. Now bend your knees, feet on the floor, hips width apart. Draw your feet in towards your hips. Ideally your fingertips can almost touch your heels. Inhale here, and as you exhale, start to gently peel your tailbone up from the mat, inch by inch. Make sure your knees aren't flopping out, but tracking forward. Send your chest up to the sky and maybe start to tuck your shoulder blades in so that your hands can clasp together under your tailbone. Inhale as you ground down through your feet and your shoulders. Continue to send your chest up to the sky, send your chin to the sky. And start to lower back down gently as possible for a soft landing. Let your knees fall out to the sides, bringing the soles of your feet together for a reclined bound angle pose. Might be nice to raise your arms up and behind your head. Maybe give yourself a little head massage. And reconnect with your breath. Now draw your knees over to the left side so that they're both facing towards the left. And turn to look over your right shoulder. You might send your arms out long. And breathe into the twist. Inhale back to center and exhale, send your knees to the right, keeping your left shoulder on the mat and gazing over your left arm. And breathe here. Unwind and come to lie flat on your backs. Send your legs out long and send your arms out to your sides for Savasana. As you bring yourself into your final resting pose, let go of any energy you built up in today's practice, and I'll share a few nuggets of wisdom about Sagittarius season, with the intention that you get to experience the best this time of year has to offer. The Sun is in Sagittarius from November 22nd to December 21st, and if your birthday's in that time, you likely know that you're a Sagittarius star sign or sun sign. Maybe it's your rising sign. And if that's the case, it's likely that you have an open mind, a philosophical outlook, and love to wander around the world in search for the meaning of life. At times, you can let your impatience get to you. The guna, or earthly quality associated with mutable signs, is sattva. Sattva goes with the flow. They accept and work with change as it is. Although sattva is likely the guna you want to cultivate the most, too much can lead you feeling disconnected from reality or unable to find motivation to act. To make sure to keep all of your gunas in check, keep your yoga asana practice varied, incorporating dynamic and resting flows regularly. I'll stop talking now and let you rest.